What's up, moviegoers? Welcome to Transit Reviews. I'm your host, Mark. This is the official second episode of my segment. Today I bring you two box sets with the actual movies and their cartoon series or somewhat related to it, and one Oscar-winning movie that changed American film entirely. So to start off, I will introduce my first box set, which is Ace Ventura. Got this for really cheap. It was $9.99. It was a good buy because you get not only Ace Ventura Pet Detective, which is the first movie, you also get Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, which is a great sequel. They go hand in hand. If you're gonna like one, you're gonna like the other. And as a bonus, they took some episodes hand-selected from the actual cartoon for kids and put it on this bonus disc, and it was a good flashback. You know, for those who grew up in the same time as me, this is definitely something that you'll enjoy. For those who don't really know what this is, it's Jim Carrey at its best. He definitely, I find, was a better movie actor back then. I mean, seriously, his comedies now, I haven't even watched them all. I've lost track, but these ones are definitely some of his best. Courtney Cox is in the first one. There's most of the Miami Dolphins. Dan Marino, you know, he gets kidnapped. It is just brilliant. The second one, he's in Africa, and he's, you know, trying to find an albino bat for like two tribes, and they're gonna go to war if he doesn't, and it's just jam-packed with hilarious moments. And like I said, this your kids will enjoy. You might not if you're older than I am. It won't really mean much to you, but you might still like this. Definitely, it's a you know, something you should see. You know, if you've never seen it, you're not gonna regret it for sure. I give the Ace Ventura box set 7.5 out of 10. The second box set is the Tox box. The Tox box comes with 4 DVDs. Toxic Crusaders. This is a cartoon that I watched when I was a kid also. It had a good message. It was about Toxie, the main superhero from New Jersey who used to be a weakling and then fell into some radioactive substance, and it transformed him into a hideous, grotesque green thing with a mop. But for the children's episodes, they decided to go with a more, you know, environmental friendly idea. They're trying to save the world from, you know, having a horrible environment, and the bad guys are trying to make the environment even worse. So it had a good message. But this is the movie of the childhood series, and it brought back some memories as well as the Ace Ventura show that I showed previously. It's definitely something you might enjoy, but to me, it wasn't as good as the movies. Now, the first movie is the Toxic Avenger. This is a little more hardcore. I wouldn't suggest to watch it with your children. I remember watching it when I was a kid. My parents took it off just because they realized how horrible it was. And then I spent all of my teenagehood trying to find this movie. Eventually I found it, and, you know, my quest was over, and I don't regret it. I remember it, you know, traumatizing me somewhat enough to make me want to look at it in the future. Kind of twisted, but it's awesome. Same premise as I told you before. Nerdy kid falls into some substance, you know, and except this time he goes for revenge. He tries to kill people instead, the people who treated him like poorly, and he finds love. You know, it's not completely just horror, but it's trauma's best. Trauma being a production company that exists for a long time, and they're the ones who brought you these. Usually you'll know it's a Trauma film because Ron Jeremy will make an appearance in it. This, of course, was followed by 2 sequels. The Toxic Avenger 2, and then the Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie. Very simple. He goes to Japan, does the same storyline pretty much, you know, saves Japan instead of Traumaville. And in this one, while he's trying to do a good deed for his girlfriend, and, you know, it turns out to be a bad thing, and the Traumaville ends up taking most of the hit. And then he tries to save them again, but first he has to face his inner demons. It's got more deeper than the other 2, but it still delivers packed full of gore. It's just endless violence. It's awesome. Seriously, if you're into this stuff, I definitely would say go and get yourself this box. It didn't cost me much. It was probably $22. No one supposedly wanted to buy it. It had been at the shelf at the store for like 2-3 years. Most of the people who work there had seen it since they got there, and they were like surprised to see it, you know, get sold. So not many people purchased this, but definitely you should look into it if you're into it. I give the Tox box 6.5 out of 10. And finally, the third movie is Oliver Stone's Platoon, featuring Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, and a bunch of other casts like Forrest Whitaker. You just could like name them. You see them, you're like, oh yeah, I recognize that guy. Some of them you don't really know their names, you know, but it's because most of them, you know, didn't get a chance to do another film after this. This was the biggest film of their career, and it happened really early, so, you know, it's hard to reproduce a great film after that. Like, look at Charlie Sheen. You know, besides Hot Shots and like Wall Street, he's got 2.5 Men, you know, and that most of the rest of his career is based around him chasing women. And it's pretty much the same thing as 2.5 Men, but I'm not going to get into that right now. This movie won 4 Academy Awards, one being Best Picture, Best Editing, Best Director, and the other one being Best Sound, for 1984, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, 86, sorry. And yeah, it changed the way America looked at movies. It definitely had a positive twist. You know, people thought the people who made it basically thought that it wouldn't be accepted as much as, you know, Top Gun, which was the biggest movie at the time when this was released, especially since they had been going to be released during Christmas, which they thought was going to be even harder, you know, especially with the vets. But the vets were the ones who really appreciated it, and deep down inside, it helped the production of this film, which was really brutal. The director really wanted to have perfection, and that's what he got, and everyone had a great time. So those are my 5 films. If you like it, you know, tune in again. What can I say? It seems the worm has turned for you.